Now, a public consultation has just been launched on designs for Belfast's first climate resilient community. To find out more about this exciting project, Marissa McMahon from Take Back the City joins us in the studio. Thank you for joining us. So this sounds like a pretty big undertaking. Before we talk about the new project, tell us a bit about the background to Take Back the City then.
Yes, Take Back the City Coalition is made up of various people and organisations, from homeless families through to planners, academics, people in permaculture, all looking at what it says, taking back the city, looking at land, looking at what's needed for people, to be able to live in the future, looking at the climate crisis, cost of living crisis, the housing crisis. And it originally started back in 2015, was known as Take Back the City then, but with families around the city, families living in homeless hostels, hidden homeless, housing stress, literally taking pictures of empty pieces of land and asking their politicians and ministers and departments, why are we not building homes here where they're needed? Yeah. And that's now transpired into an interactive map on takebackthecity.ie, and as you say, a load of architects from around the world wanting to put, the first of its kind community at the Mackey site in West Belfast.
So yeah, that's the site we're talking about, the famous Mackey site. And as you said, the architects from all around the world have been getting involved. I mean, that's pretty big stuff, isn't it?
It really, really is. And I think even though you knew that people had applied, it wasn't until the designs started rolling in and you were going, well, I was certainly going to myself, and I know other people were like, oh my goodness, the potential of this site is unbelievable. And there was, I think, 14 architects in the end. There was tons of interest, and 14 came through in the end with varying designs, and 11 of those are now up, as you say, for public consultation.
So what kind of things have we been seeing in these designs then?
Ranging from all sorts, but what we're seeing is homes that are fit for purpose, that are sustainable, that it's incorporated things like a greenway. A greenway's planned for Mackeys, and we've never, in terms of Take Back the City, and the families have never once stated that a greenway is not needed. In fact, there's proof that greenway and connecting the city is very much needed. But it's not to say that it says that site only needs to be a greenway. It's the largest publicly owned piece of land in an area that has the highest need for homes in the whole of Northern Ireland, and it would be a waste if it wasn't, and its full potential wasn't realised.
And just walking around Belfast city centre at the moment as well, I mean, you're seeing so many more homeless people on the streets as well, aren't you?
Indeed, yes. I've been doing this too long, 13, 14 years. And year on year, the homeless figures increase. We're sitting currently at, across the north, 44,000 people or households waiting to be housed appropriately. And off that, a significant number in housing stress and considered homelessness. And as you say, there's been a rise in street homelessness as well. And it's not good enough.
No.
I understand that, there's hostels and there's short-term, intermediate help out there, but it's obviously not enough. And when you have the minister who has said, she wants to deliver 100,000 homes, and then you look at a massive piece of land and we're not delivering homes on that in an area of highest need, then you need to weigh up, what are we doing to really tackle the homelessness crisis here.
And as well as that piece of land that you've been talking about, even when you walk around the city centre, we're seeing so many disused buildings that just seem to have been left that nobody cares about. Surely they could be turned into something good as well.
100%, and that's what families have been doing from 2015, literally taking pictures of either homes that have been derelict for a long time, empty pieces of land, as you say, under things that are underused, and asking, what could these be? They don't need to be left that way. Land doesn't need to be left unused. Not always for homes neither. Sometimes, it's for green space, it's for growing space, all of that, but it shouldn't be left to rot.
Obviously, you'd love our politicians to get involved in your campaign. Sadly, we don't have a government at the minute to care about that, but I would imagine that's kind of the long-term plan, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've engaged throughout this process, and for now a number of years, inviting the minister, and we launched 11 of these architects' designs where people can come along and interact, and you'll be able to do that online and in various places across Belfast it'll be up on the website. But we've invited, the Minister for Communities, the Minister for Infrastructure, the Chief Executive of the Housing Executive, people from Belfast City Council to come along. Unfortunately, they're not available, but they can still interact and they can still, go online and have a look at these and vote and give their opinions.
And it's interesting you're getting all these architects from other places in the world getting involved, but yet you can't get people from your own city to come together for this.
I know. And yet we have people, there is very much people in the city, those most impacted and those who have a real interest in seeing a better, brighter future, a future where kids aren't growing up in a homeless hostel or on somebody's sofa, where they have a home to call their own. But yes, there's people from across the world that seem to, want to invest more in this piece of land than we have here. Yeah,
so if people do want to find out more, if they want to get involved, there is some public events taking place. I know there's one coming up on the 26th of October, isn't there?
Yep, and that's in the Skianos building. That's with Housing Rights are running a day where they're talking about participation and what participation looks like. And, we'll be there to support the families that are very much participating in building a city that they want to see for their future. And if you go to takebackthecity.ie, there's also a list of other places around between November and December around Belfast where you can come along. Some in the evening, some in the afternoon, varying times, and places where people can come along and genuinely engage with the designs and give us their feedback and comments, because all this will go towards the judging process.
So I know the 7th of November, there's the 4th Spring Inter-Community Group happening as well.
There is indeed, yep. That's at 6 p.m. People are more than welcome to come along to that. And hopefully there'll be a few more in different youth centres on a Saturday. I know sometimes during the week doesn't suit people, so we're trying to mix it up a bit and have some at the weekends as well.
And then 22nd of November, lessons from New York as well, which sounds quite interesting too.
Yeah, that's Martin Dunn, who's a developer over in New York City, who is part of Take Back the City Coalition. And he will be here in Belfast for a couple of days, and they're running an event on the 22nd. The venue, I think, is to be confirmed. So if you keep an eye on the website and just register your interest. You can register your interest now for that actually, because there's a limited number of spaces for that.
Okay, well just give us the website details one more time where they can check out the architect's drawings and stuff as well on there, can't they? Yeah. So it's takebackthecity.ie, and if you go to /, is that right? / competition, and if you click in there, that's where it'll give you all the details, the architectural stuff as well as the public events. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming in and joining us.
Thank you so much.
And the very best of luck with the project.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.